Imagine waking up to discover the gods are real, and they're fighting a war that could wipe out humanity. When the ruthless god Set murders his own brother and steals the throne of Egypt, the world is swallowed by darkness. Now, a fearless human thief teams up with the exiled god Horus on a suicidal mission to stop an immortal tyrant. But here's the terrifying part. Every monster they face is stronger than the last, and one mistake means the end of both gods and mankind. Can two unlikely heroes defeat a god who can't die? Or is Egypt already doomed? Let's find out. Beck is a street-smart thief with more swagger than patience, and you meet him mid-swipe, pulling off a daring heist not for glory, but for the one thing that actually matters to him: Zaya, the woman he loves. He's scrappy, human, vulnerable in a world that's increasingly ruled by gods with temper tantrums and literal lightning. Beck wants to buy Zaya's freedom, and he's willing to risk everything for it, which of course makes him the kind of hero you end up rooting for, even when he's doing something you'd never do in broad daylight. The story takes place in a stylized, larger-than-life ancient Egypt, where gods walk among men and politics look a lot like family drama, amplified by godly powers. Set, the brutal god of chaos and storms, has taken advantage of the fragile truce between gods and the human world. He ambushes and murders his brother Osiris in a vicious plot to seize the throne. And from that moment, the natural order collapses. Crops fail, storms rage, and people suffer, while Set crowns himself king, sits on Osiris's throne, and starts terrorizing both mortals and immortals. He's the kind of villain who doesn't just want power, he wants to humiliate anyone who gets in the way. Horus, son of Osiris and a once proud god with a falcon's head, is the natural challenger to Set, but he's been broken. In a cruel display of dominance, Set strips Horus of his eyes and his sight, making him vulnerable and grounding him in a very human kind of helplessness. Horus survives, though diminished and bandaged, and that's where Beck and Horus's paths crush together like two gears that were always meant to mesh. Horus needs his eyes back to reclaim his power and challenge Set. Beck needs money to free Zaya. It's a classic mismatched buddy setup. One is immortal and regal but blinded by betrayal. The other is mortal and desperate but full of grit. They form an uneasy alliance and set off on a quest that moves from bustling city markets to silent deserts, ancient temples, and the hollows of the underworld. Along the way, their relationship shifts from wary convenience to a genuine partnership. Horus, who starts off haughty and a little patronizing, he is, after all, a god, gradually learns that humans have resilience and heart. Beck, for his part, learns that there are stakes beyond his immediate needs. He begins to see the broader consequences of Set's tyranny. The movie doesn't skimp on set pieces. There are big, flashy battles where gods throw each other across ruins and chariots chase each other through sandstorms. You get the sense that the filmmakers wanted to deliver spectacle at every turn. Disintegrating cities, horned creatures, and a cinematic tendency to go big with the visual effects. Some of it lands gloriously. Those sweeping vistas and over-the-top fights feel exactly like what a summer myth movie should be, while other moments flirt with camp, but the tone mostly stays in the campy fun zone rather than the embarrassingly cheesy one. As Beck and Horus hunt for the missing eyes, they run into other divine figures who complicate the mission. Some gods are openly hostile or too scared to intervene, others are missing in action, and a few play double agent. There's a touching thread with Isis, Osiris's widow, and Horus's mother, who's mourning and plotting in equal measure. She's both a grieving mother and a politician, standing in the ruins of what was supposed to be a stable divine order. That family grief runs through the film. It's not only about power, it's about family being torn apart and the stubborn desire to set it right. Beck's personal drive to free Zaya threads through the larger plot and humanizes the divine conflict. Zaya herself is not just a prize to be won. She's sharp and proud, and her loyalty to Beck is earned. There's a nice little subplot about dignity and the rights of people trampled by gods. It's an important emotional anchor. When gods start reshuffling the cosmos, the story still remembers the people living under the chaos. The middle of the film is an adventure-heavy stretch that plays like an ancient action road trip. Beck and Horus fight through merciless henchmen and supernatural obstacles, and each victory yields a payoff that pushes them closer to Set's palace. There are betrayals, near-death escapes, and even a sequence where they have to sneak through a decrepit temple crawling with undead guardians. Because what's a mythic quest without a few mummies, right? These sequences help solidify the chemistry between Horus and Beck. Horus's divine arrogance softens, and Beck's craftiness proves essential when brute strength won't cut it. There's also a recurring motif about sight and perspective. Horus's blindness isn't just a physical handicap, it's symbolic. He's the god of protection and kingship who, for the first time, has to learn trust and humility. There are moments where Horus himself is as surprised by mortals' tenacity as they are by his fallibility. When he regains partial insight, sometimes through fragments of his eyes or through dreams and memory, it's played like a slow, earned resurrection. The film is smart enough to make Horus's recovery feel meaningful rather than just a sudden power-up. Meanwhile, Set's rule grows crueler. He isn't content with mere political dominance. He wants a permanent eradication of anyone who might challenge him. He revels in spectacle and violence, which makes him a straightforward but effective antagonist. His motivations are personal too. This isn't just ambition, it's spite. The battle with him becomes as much about personal revenge as it is about restoring balance. The climax is predictably theatrical. Beck and Horus infiltrate Set's stronghold, and everything erupts. Gods collide, humans get caught in the crossfire, and the film leans hard into spectacle. There's a big fight where old grudges are settled and sacrifices are made. Expect some over-the-top visual moments and at least one jaw-dropping turn where the fate of the world hangs on a single act of courage. Beck, who began as a thief, ends up making choices that are heroic in a classic sense. He risks his life not just for Zaya, but for something greater. He's the moral center when the gods behave like petulant children with cosmic weapons. The resolution pulls things toward a bittersweet, restorative tone. Horus reclaims what was taken from him, and in doing so, restores the balance that Set had upended. The gods are put back in their places, and mortality and divinity find a delicate reconciliation. Beck doesn't become a god. No, it's not that kind of curse, grant your wish ending. But he does get the dignity and life he's fighting for. And Zaya's freedom is won in a way that feels earned rather than handed over like a plot convenience. There's a satisfying sense that suffering has meaning. People mattered in the struggle, and the world is better for it. Along the way, the film flirts with humor and pop culture quips. Beck's wisecracks land when the tone needs to lighten, and Horus's attempts at human camaraderie have a few genuinely funny, awkward moments. The chemistry between the leads is the emotional glue. The dialogue can be a bit clunky at times, and the script sometimes leans on classic fantasy cliches, but the cast sells it with charisma enough that you mostly forgive those moments. To be fair, the movie's mythology and visual choices don't always line up with historical expectations, and if you're coming in expecting strict adherence to Egyptian lore, you'll find liberties, lots of liberties. The film is more interested in spectacle and myth as pop culture than in textbook accuracy. Costumes, makeup, and CGI create a hyper-stylized world that feels like a comic book version of Egypt. Dramatic, colorful, and occasionally ridiculous. Some viewers will love that aesthetic, others will find it a bit garish. Personally, I think it's enjoyable if you lean into it and don't overthink the details. The emotional beats are simple but effective. Grief, betrayal, love, and redemption. And the film ultimately says something basic but resonant, that even in a world of immortal beings, the choices of ordinary people matter. Beck's humanity is the counterbalance to Horus's godhood. Where gods have scale and fury, Beck has loyalty and cleverness. It's that human element that gives the grand, bombastic finale a believable emotional payoff. If you squint, the movie reads like a modern myth, loud, shiny, and unapologetically entertaining. It's not subtle, and it doesn't try to be. What it does do is deliver big action, a few heartfelt moments, and a satisfying arc for its central characters. Beck starts as a self-interested thief and becomes something nobler without losing his edge. Horus goes from fallen deity nursing wounds to a leader who's learned humility. Set remains a gleefully detestable villain, who never pretends to be anything else. There are certainly flaws. Some character motivations are a bit thin, the pacing sometimes prioritizes spectacle over depth, and the CGI-heavy sequences can be hit or miss in terms of realism. But if you're in the mood for a popcorn, effects-driven retelling of gods behaving badly and humans stepping up, this one delivers. It's got heart where it counts, and it's an energetic, messy, enjoyable ride. In the end, it's a story about reclaiming sight, both literal and moral. The big takeaway is simple. Power without compassion breaks the world, but courage and solidarity, even from the least likely places, can put the pieces back together. Also, Beck's stubborn loyalty is kind of infectious. By the time credits roll, you're rooting for him like an old friend who just won't quit. So yeah, maybe the gods get most of the fireworks, but it's the human spark that really lights the show.